In this video, I'm going to be giving you my top 5 overall prize picks. Yes, yesterday I gave you 5 total picks, and 2 of those picks were involved in that Minnesota game that unfortunately was a blowout, but tonight, hopefully, no blowouts in the playoffs. If you guys do like this content, please do hit that like button. We're going to try to get this video to 150 likes. Again, if we get this video to 150 likes, I will post my 5 flex prize picks card in the YouTube comment section below. And for every additional 50 comments that we get on this video, I will also post an additional play on top of my 5 flex prize picks card and my 5 free picks in this video. And I do have to warn you guys, all of these picks are fantasy scores again because these fantasy scores just don't make sense. It's like if a player has a bad game, Prizepicks just decides to bring their projection down like 10 fantasy points. It makes no sense. Regardless, I have a ton of projections and I have a ton of favorite plays. If you guys are interested in signing up for my premium package, head over to dgfantasy.com and grab all my favorite picks for only $5 a week or $10 a month. And as always, quick shout out to Prizepicks. If you guys do enjoy this content and if you haven't signed up for Prizepicks, go ahead and enter code using DGF on sign up for a 100% match up to $100. Prizepicks is a fantasy app where you simply hit the over or under of any certain fantasy projection or player prop. It really is that easy. Again, that is code DGF. You get $100 free just for watching this video. Coming in as my honorable mention for this Prizepicks board is going to be Jaylen Brown over 42 fantasy score. This gets a confidence rating of a 7 out of 10. He has hit the over on this projection the past 4 out of 5 games. Brown also averages 0.06 more fantasy points per minute with Robert Williams off the court. He also receives a 0.7% usage rate bump. Brown also played nearly the entire game last game, so I expect him to play 40 plus minutes in this matchup yet again. Overall, his minute upside is just way too high for this projection at 42. I have him projected for 47 fantasy points tonight. Coming in at number 5 is going to be James Harden over 44 fantasy score. This gets a confidence rating of a 7 out of 10. Harden averages 0.02 more fantasy points per minute with Thibault off the court. He is officially out tonight. He also receives a surprising 4.8% usage rate bump. In last matchup, Maxey dropped 50 fantasy points, so Embiid and Harden were not expected to step up in this contest. Assuming that doesn't happen again, Harden should be more involved in the offense tonight. And he does average 1.24 fantasy points per minute on the season. I have him projected for 50 fantasy points tonight. Coming in at number 4 is going to be Kevin Durant over 49 fantasy score. This also gets a confidence rating of a 7 out of 10. Durant averages 1.44 fantasy points per minute on the season. And he also only dropped 34 fantasy points last matchup versus Celtics, which brought his median projection down from a 55 projection all the way down to 49. This is a perfect buy low opportunity for Durant, and I'm going to be taking advantage of this recency bias. I mean, it is Kevin Durant after all. His points, rebounds, and assists are also currently set to 43.5, so his fantasy score projection looks very soft. Based on season averages, I have Kevin Durant projected for 60 fantasy points, assuming this game does stay close and competitive. Coming in at number 3 is going to be Joel Embiid over 54 fantasy score. This, again, gets a confidence rating of a 7 out of 10. Embiid actually averages 0.01 more fantasy points per minute with Thibault off the court. The 76ers coasted to victory last game, and Embiid was held out a majority of the fourth quarter due to an elbow injury. Despite all of this, he still played 37 minutes. And as long as this game does remain competitive, which it's projected to be somewhat competitive, then Embiid should be more involved in this game. Regardless, this fantasy score is just way too soft for a player who averages 1.64 fantasy points per minute. I have Joel Embiid projected for 62 fantasy points tonight. Coming in at number 2 is going to be Demar Derozan over 40 fantasy score. This gets a confidence rating of a 7.5 out of 10. DeRozan just has to step it up tonight if they want to keep this series close with the Bucks. He shot 6 of 25 last matchup. But the good news is DeRozan still played 41 minutes, and despite his poor shooting performance, he still cleared the projection of 40 fantasy points. Not only that, the Bulls only scored 86 total points. So you're telling me that DeRozan cleared this projection shooting 6 of 26 and 86 total points were scored for the Bulls. This to me looks like one of the safest overs on the entire board. I have DeRozan projected for 47 fantasy points tonight. Coming in as the best overall play for this Prizepicks board is going to be Bruce Brown over 26 fantasy score. This gets a confidence rating of an 8.5 out of 10. Bruce Brown's median projection came all the way down from a 30 fantasy score projection last matchup after he had a horrible performance. And this just looks like a perfect buy low opportunity for Bruce Brown. Not only that, Brown still played 37 minutes last matchup because the Celtics were forced to play small ball without Robert Williams. Keep in mind, Bruce Brown still averages 0.95 fantasy points per minute throughout the regular season, so he should easily still clear this projection. I have Brown projected for 35 fantasy points tonight.